Hello and welcome to the Fantasy Challenge podcast. My name is Challen, and today I'm joined by my regular co-host Leighton. How are you?
Pretty good, thanks, Jalen. How are you?
I'm pretty good, thanks. Looking extra fly tonight.
You like my sunglasses?
Yeah, kind of do.
I
Suit.
was wearing them when we started recording this show like 7 hours ago. Sun was out. Now it's midnight.
Fair enough. You did need them, but also it was a very good game week, so you had to show off your cool side.
Good game week for you, sure.
That was good for everyone overall, which we'll get
Yeah,
into
I
soon.
think. Yeah.
But yeah, today's episode we're going to be looking at a review of game week 1, a new segment called the Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, followed by our rapid fire fixture predictions from last week, before we look at our game week 2 teams and transfers, as well as some captaincy decisions and maybe some differentials as well. But we'll see how
We
things
we
go.
need to keep a record of our quick fire predictions to see who's closer to the correct amount of scores.
We should do that, and I've considered it, but
Yeah.
I just need to get around to actually doing it. It's a bit,
Get around to it.
it's a bit of
Come
an effort
on.
to tabulate everything.
If you say so, man.
Yeah. All right. So before we carry on, we seem to have fixed any potential audio and video issues that we have. I'm using
Yeah.
something new. It's working good on our side, but
Mhm.
for the odd video issue on Leighton's side, but that's because he's a Mac user, but I'm sure in time we'll get used to that. As long as the audio is good, then all is great, right?
If anything's wrong, it's my fault because I'm using a Mac.
Yes, basically.
Exactly.
But let's have a look at our game weeks and then discuss it from there.
Yeah.
As you as you can see on screen, this is the draft that you showed us last week, Leighton.
Yeah. Pretty good draft, right?
I mean, it was on paper. On paper, you had in goal, you had Sanchez, Trent, Shaw, Sofel, Digne, Bruno, Salah, James, Antonio, Tony, and Wilson,
Hmm.
which would have scored you 97 points this game week. Good.
Yeah. Yeah.
And between Thursday last week when we recorded and Friday,
Yeah.
I'm guessing you watched the team news and then
Yeah.
decided to change it up. Was there a reason for that?
I changed my draft maybe 7,000 times on that final day. And I decided I wanted to have a City player and a Leicester player. And so I shuffled around my team. And then Calvert-Lewin was playing. So I decided to put him in my team, which was a good decision as well. So I shuffled it down and around, and I didn't do quite as well as my draft team. But it's a marathon, not a sprint. All could be okay.
Exactly. I mean, just for the benefit of the podcast users, could you just read through your final team that you went with?
Yeah, my final. You just want me to pronounce all these names.
I did.
Yeah, Sanchez in goal, Trent in defense with Shaw, and also Sufal. I was going to go with Simicas in defense, and for some reason I thought, you know what, I'll have one Liverpool, one West Ham, and then Simicas first on the bench. Didn't quite work out. Jorginho was my Chelsea pick. Didn't do much. Barnes for Leicester didn't do much. Salah captain. I think most people went with Salah captain. Fernandez scored a hat trick, but I'm pretty sure most people didn't captain him, so it wasn't too much of a loss. Then I had Grealish, who I was very disappointed in. I watched the game. He spent more time falling on the floor than actually trying to kick the ball. Calvert-Lewin in front for Everton, and Tony in a winning side called Brentford.
Yeah, overall, very good side. If anything, I would have asked you, was there a specific reason why you went with Jorginho, Barnes, and Grealish instead of your other draft? Okay, James, you knew wasn't going to play, so I guess that's why you took him out.
Yeah, it took Hammers out.
Was there a reason why you went with 5 in midfield instead of having Antonio?
Yes, it was really interesting when I was looking at my team, and I thought, do I want strong strikers or strong midfield? And I genuinely believed I'd probably get more points for having a Man City midfielder, a Leicester midfielder, and a Chelsea midfielder in a strong Chelsea team playing Crystal Palace, rather than a Newcastle forward who I wasn't sure, are they going to score goals against West Ham? How are West Ham going to do? They had a great season last year, and Antonio was playing Newcastle as well, so I just changed it. I went with the stronger teams in the end.
I mean, I can completely understand it. It was basically, yeah, coming down to deciding between Antonio or backing Grealish.
Yeah,
And I mean, Jorginho was the random one, but I can see why he went with him because of him having penalties.
yeah, he had penalties. I was hoping if he got a penalty against Crystal Palace, he would be the penalty taker for Chelsea. Unfortunately, that wasn't to be. So,
Yeah, he probably would have. Anyway,
I mean, hindsight is a wonderful thing, right?
yeah, and you're pretty well set up for next week anyway. So, which we'll get into a bit
Cat plays
later.
fantasy
I
football.
just saw a cat run across
Yeah,
the screen.
yeah. I mean, sorry. Yeah, it's nothing to panic about. I'm not going to be making any transfers this week or any panic changes. It's a settled team. It's okay.
Yeah, it's good enough. All right, so looking
Good
at
enough.
my team, my
Enough.
draft, my draft from last week, or my first draft, I should say, uh,
Yeah.
was the balanced draft, which had the Brighton goalkeepers in goal, and then I had Ben White, Digne, Trent, Simicas, Sofel, Bruno, Gundogan, Salah, Rafinha, Gilmore, and then up front I had Tony, Ings, and Antonio. That was the balanced team, and to be honest, was the first team that I chose when I first made a first draft. And then basically after the team news, I decided to keep that same structure.
Hmm.
And I ended up, I think I changed maybe two or three from that lineup.
Yeah.
Instead of that 15, I'd switched out Ben White, Gilmore,
Gilmore. Yeah.
and uh, Digne, those three, and I brought in Shaw, Brownhill, and Ailing from Leeds. And yeah, largely the same. I Captain Salah got 34 points there, and overall team got 94, and that's with Ailing on the bench who got 6 points, and quite a few blanks in the team. To be honest, like I expected, I'm not sure about you, but I expected Shaw to maybe get a clean sheet or an assist, perhaps.
I mean, if you're playing Shaw in defence and you're playing Rafina in midfield and you're hoping for Shaw to get a clean sheet, what's the point of playing Rafina?
Yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking as well. But at the same time, I'll tell you, my final decision was
Mm,
uh, Rafinha or Sofel.
yeah.
And I switched them probably about 10 times in the final 10 minutes and ended up on Rafinha. So, I mean, it's just a coin
Yeah.
toss. And they got the same points at the end of the day. So it doesn't really matter.
Yeah. It doesn't really matter.
But yeah, it was a very nice game week to watch overall. Great thing that football's back.
Oh, yeah.
Fans in the stands.
Yeah. Fans make such a big difference to watching football. So much more enjoyable.
Absolutely. And just as we finished recording last week, and I think it was maybe about an hour later when I saw the news
Yeah.
that Lukaku had signed for Chelsea and was official and in game as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's typical. As soon as you finish recording, then they announce something and it changes things.
We did discuss it though. We did
We,
say if Lukaku comes in, if Kane comes in, would it change our plans? And Lukaku wouldn't have been registered anyway, so it didn't really make much of a difference.
yeah, he'll be ready for next week, I think, but we'll look at
Yeah.
that a bit later. All right, so to the news segment, the good, the bad, and the ugly. Just looking at the weekend results, and the good, in my opinion, this isn't Leighton, but
Yeah.
I'm sure you have your thoughts as well, which you can elaborate on. The good, in my
Maybe.
opinion, was without a doubt Man United uh, blowing Leeds away in attack. Bruno with a hat
Yeah.
trick, Pogba with
Yeah.
4 assists,
4 assists. Yeah.
and Greenwood scoring as well. So, regardless of who you had, they all did well. And yeah, What do you think about not captaining Bruno?
It was, I would say it was a 50-50 decision, but I was always settled on Salah. There was no point in those weeks building up. I thought, I'm going to pick Fernandez. If it was one of those where I was struggling who to pick captain and I picked Salah over Fernandez, I would feel worse about it. But because I was never going to choose Fernandez, I didn't feel as bad. And Salah did great as well. So I didn't really lose out too much. How about you? Similar thoughts?
Yeah, I'd say watching that first game before everything else unfolded, I was rather scared. Would be putting it
You were
mildly.
pooping your pants.
I really was.
Me
But
too.
at the same time, it just sucked because I mean I had Rafinha and he got booked, and so that was just two things that didn't help me out. But yeah, besides that, great result from them. I knew nobody had Pogba besides maybe like
No.
a fanboy or two, but very good result. I think that Man United fans are overreacting slightly. They're thinking that they're world beaters, but it's the first game of the season, so they should relax.
Sure. I mean, they've just beaten Leeds. Leeds have a leaky defence. I mean, last year as well. They're an attacking team. They're vulnerable at the back. They concede a lot of goals. And when they lose, they seem to just lose heavily. When it rains, it pours for Leeds. Leeds are a joy to watch. When Leeds are going forward, they're exciting. But unfortunately, Man United, they have some really good players. And I think the one player I think most fantasy football users will be sad if they didn't have in their team was Greenwood, because he's reasonably priced.
Yeah, he's in that nice bracket of like 7.5 or there
7.5, yeah.
thereabouts. Yeah. So I mean, even for me, like at that stage, I wasn't too bothered about not having Greenwood instead of Gundogan in my team.
Yeah.
And we'll get into that a bit later about this week's decisions, but they have Varane coming in now into central defense, so it's going to make them even better defensively, I would assume, in the long term. So we'll have to keep our eye on them and potentially buy more of their players in coming weeks.
Yeah, potentially.
Next best
Greenwood is a good shout.
is the next best team, or the good team that I thought was maybe a bit biased on my part, but Chelsea. And reason was, yes, they did play a really, really bad Crystal Palace team, but it just showed how settled Chelsea are as a team overall, with no striker, and they were still dominating possession, stats, everything. So they won 3-0 in the end, and feeling very optimistic about them this season, both in FPL and overall. What do you think of them?
Chelsea, they seem okay this season.
Yeah, just
Yeah,
okay.
I think Chelsea are excellent in the midfield. I think for a number of years you've said they're so strong in midfield. They've got amazing players. And last year Chelsea bought Werner, and I think many people thought, well, there's the striker. He's going to go on and smash them in every game. And it wasn't to be. But they looked great. They looked strong. I think Chelsea, they have to be one of the top teams, in my mind, in the league.
They're definite favorites, or one of the favorites, I would say, this season. Depends on what happens, but we'll see. And
I
with
mean, it's game week 1, isn't it? So it all
yeah,
depends.
I think I was still not changing my mind on them overall at the moment. I'm probably going to consider
No,
getting someone from them in game week 7 or 8 when their fixtures turn, and that's probably going to be Lukaku if they continue in the way that they are.
yeah. If you
And
have a wild card,
yeah,
game week 8, Lukaku, beautiful fixtures, and if Lukaku is scoring for fun, everyone's gonna want him in their team.
yeah, and I mean we saw this weekend one of the youth prospects, Chalobah, at centre back scoring
Mm,
a goal as well, and him being at five
mm.
million, he could be a decent option if he manages to maintain his spot. Whether he does or not is an entirely different situation, but we'll have to see. The next team on the good list, West Ham, I thought. Very
West
settled.
Ham.
Yeah, West Ham. Very settled, very attacking. Uh, and of course, the regular people that everyone selected, Antonio and Ben Rama, or Ben Rahma, did very well for buyers. Cresswell as well. definitely a good option. Most people have Sofal because he's a bit cheaper, but Cresswell
Yeah.
could be worth that extra investment long term. Did you watch this game?
I didn't watch this game, and I was very sad because I had Ben Rama in so many drafts in my team on that final day. I was like, oh, I'm going to put him in. I'll put him in with another 7.5 player, keep Wilson, and I didn't go with it, so I'm sad. I think West Ham didn't see the game, but they conceded 2 goals against a Newcastle team. That's a
Yes.
little worrying, isn't it?
I mean, it's a little worrying, yeah, but at the same time, this was a similar Newcastle team that was playing in the same attacking sense with Wilson and Saint Maximin up front at the end
Yeah,
of last season. So they're always very good on the front foot, but their defense is an utter shambles.
yeah.
So when they conceded, I had a feeling they would continue scoring, and I mean they missed a penalty as well. Antonio missed a penalty, and he still got like 13 points at the end. So could have been more.
But he didn't he get the assist for that because they was scored on the rebound.
Yes, he did get the fantasy assist for
Yeah,
that, thankfully. But yeah, the
yeah,
main thing to worry about with West Ham is still the potential rotation for Europa League once that starts. And if they don't sign
yeah,
a striker, I think Antonio is in trouble. But until then, he's not leaving my team.
yeah,
The one thing about you mentioned your draft and Ben Rama. When I saw
yeah.
you sent me your final draft, and I was going to say you've taken Antonio and Ben Rama out. Why not take one of them out? And you had Jorginho. My suggestion was going to be Jorginho to Ben Rama, but then I
Yeah.
thought you got to make your own decisions. So
It's funny because I kept playing with both of them, one of them in the team. Like if I have Antonia, I don't need Ben, whatever he's called. And then if I have him, opposite. And then in the end, I just got rid of them both. I don't know. Who knows, man? There's nothing like the build up to the first game week in fantasy football. You change your team so many times. You think you have the perfect draft, and then team news comes out and everything changes. So who knows what was happening?
for sure. And the final good team, Brentford. I thought that they were amazing. To be fair, I did not expect that result on Friday night. Very attacking team, really going for the results.
Yeah.
And yeah, Tony was the most selected player by most people. But I mean, their goalkeeper Raya, Canos, and even one of the defenders who got the assist, Pinnock, I think that's how you say his name. He did well as well. So I mean, they
And
could be very good enablers going forward.
I think they've come up from the championship. They were flying in the championship. They were scoring goals for fun. And I think fans in the stadium made such a big difference for them. They took their chances. They looked good. And I think everyone's going to be happy to have Tony in their team. They've got some nice fixtures coming up. It's inevitable. He's going to score some goals soon.
Really hope so. But let's move on to the bad. Okay, the first of the bads for me were, of course,
Yeah.
Man City. And I'm a bit iffy on this one because I thought
Yeah.
they played well in the first half,
Wow.
and I think they would.
Those first 15 minutes were amazing.
Yeah,
That was so nice to watch as a neutral.
without a doubt. I think that this City team, even if when they're playing with their toothless attack, which they have
Mm.
issues with, even if that team plays against majority of teams in the league, they're probably going to win every week, most of the time, right? They're not going to have an
Yeah.
issue, even without a striker, and they showed that last season
Mm.
without Aguero.
Mm.
But they played Spurs this weekend, who did very well to take their chance. Son scored an amazing goal, as he tends to do. If you're going to give him chances, he will score.
Best player on the pitch, Son Heung-min.
Yeah,
Just amazing. Just every time he got the ball, his intent is amazing. He gets the ball, he's going to run forward, he's going to whip passes into the box, he's going to shoot. Defenders didn't know what to do with him. He was absolutely amazing. So I can't, so sad didn't have Son Heung-min in my team in the first week. But for Man City, it was after those first 15 minutes, it was so disappointing. This is an amazing team, incredible talent, and they just didn't seem to get any rhythm going after that first 15 minutes, which they controlled. Just didn't look like they were going to score.
Yeah, it seemed
Isn't
inevitable, really.
Yeah, it was. It reminded me of the Champions League final against Chelsea, where you just watched them going side to side, thinking, "Where's a goal going to come from?" And Grealish, 100 million signing. I hope that isn't a sign to come. Just have him on the wing, just falling over every second. It was dreadful,
He's doing
dreadful.
he's doing well to draw fouls. At the moment, it's still very early days for him at the club, but he's doing well to draw
Yeah,
fouls, and I think he'll be even better the more he grows into the role. Um, I
it's
think,
not a foul though. Like most of the time, he flops over, and I think, come on, just get up, just actually try and play.
I mean, he
Come
wasn't
on,
being
embarrassing.
he wasn't diving like Sterling tends to do, right?
Okay, he wasn't diving like Sterling, but he's still like a little tickle to his shoulder, and he's gone. He's fallen over. And I think, what is going on? And as a fan, those fans are paying £90, £100 to go watch a game. You don't want to see this. And every time the clock stops, it's just wasting so much time. I don't like. I don't like it. I think it's not good for football.
There's a potential worry for those who have like the 7.5 or 7 to 9 midfielders from
Mm,
City. So I'm sure in coming weeks,
yeah,
I mean, they played Norwich this week, so I think we're going to have to wait for press conferences to see what's going to happen there. For me
yeah,
specifically, with I have Gundogan who looked like he injured his shoulder, so he
yeah,
might already be out. But I'm going to try and hold the transfer if I can, and I'm assuming you're going to do the
yeah.
same with Grealish, right?
Absolutely. If Grealish doesn't play, he drops to my bench. But I'm going to put him in the team. It's Norwich. I'm going to assume he plays. Pep likes to change his team, but I think he's going to look at Norwich and say Grealish needs to get off the mark. He hasn't had the best start. Put him on against Norwich. See how he does. That would be my best guess.
Kane in before deadline day.
I don't know.
I mean, the
Do you
quotes
think
are like 150 million euros.
150 million? I mean, if Grealish is 100 million, then Kane is 200 million. He's
I guess, yeah.
He's exactly what they're missing, right?
He's the man with glass ankles, though.
No, that's true. But at least he would be rotated more in a City team, whilst Spurs rely on him. He plays every second, every game. So there's
Fair,
that.
that too.
But I don't know. He might have watched that game and thought, well, Spurs are doing quite good this season. We could win. So you never know.
We'll have to see. The next bad team for me, and for most, I think, was Aston Villa. They were tragic in that first half, but much better in the second half
Yeah,
once their subs came on. They've got good
yeah.
fixtures in the next couple of games, so for me, I don't mind holding them at all. You have Ings, right?
Nope. I got rid of him.
Wait, so who do you have? You have Tony and?
I have Calvert Lewin, my friend.
Oh, yes, of course, Calvert-Lewin.
Benitez's finest player.
Yeah. I mean, that was a good choice in the end. I haven't added him in here at all because Everton just seemed meh for me, but he scored, so
Yeah.
good.
Scored too.
Yeah. Next bad team was Newcastle, again, in my opinion. As you can see, we spoke about them briefly earlier. Defense,
Yeah.
what defense? They don't care. All they really do is about attack. So Wilson
Yeah.
and Saint Maximin attack well. Richie does well in attack as well with his set piece delivery. But yeah, there's no defending there, so they don't really mind. They don't care about that. So I think you don't mind not having Wilson, right?
I don't mind not having Wilson, but actually, a player I would be tempted by is Willock because Willock has completed his signing. I'm assuming he'll play the next game, and I think he is a really good player. I think he's one to watch. So he's someone who's I would love to have in my team. So I'll definitely be watching
That's pretty
out for
fair.
Willock.
West Ham's fixtures, I mean, not West Ham, Newcastle's fixtures,
Newcastle,
they play
they're
Aston
quite
Villa
okay.
next.
Yeah, Aston Villa don't look too strong in defence. Newcastle could go grab a goal or two.
Yeah, Newcastle and then, I mean, Aston Villa and then Southampton. So maybe it's another option to have in midfield if you're trying to get someone like Son in a couple of weeks
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
or
could
someone
it
else.
could be Grealish and someone out the door, come in Son. I need someone from South Korea in my team.
Give us a wave in the stream quickly. I want to try and fix your video because I'm seeing blurriness. That's not helping. Maybe if I click there. Oh well, it'll come on eventually. Doesn't really matter. There we go. Perfect.
Cool.
Carry on.
Perfect.
Southampton were pretty
Here's
bad
to
as
you.
well. There's a kitty. Hello. Southampton were pretty bad. Rather worrying to see them because they're a club selling players, probably trying to rebuild as well. But
Yeah.
their new striker was pretty good. Armstrong, he scored the first goal against Everton, and he looks like basically a carbon copy of Danny Ings. So you could do very well
Yeah.
at 6 million.
For 6 million, yeah, he's okay. He's probably worth it. Southampton players in my team. I'm good, thank you. Next.
I'm not going to do it unless I have to. But again, if I were to think long term, Robertson is going to come back from injury soon, or in a couple of weeks,
Yeah.
and that means I'm going to have to get rid of Simicas. And if he stays in the 4 million bracket, I could easily go to Livramento and
Yeah.
still I could profit the money that I get from Simicas because his price is definitely going to go up this week. So
Yeah.
that could be a potential route in the future.
That's my only hope because Simicas, you don't want him to be a bench player with Liverpool. You're probably going to want another Liverpool player in potentially. Jota did great. So if his price goes up a couple of million and Robertson comes back, probably move him on.
Yeah, and the uglies. Can you guess who the most ugly was this game week? Just take
The
a guess,
most ugly, I'm going to say,
just in your
the
opinion.
most incredible team, the Invincibles, Celtic.
Yeah, the Invincibles or the most invincible. What's the opposite of invincible? The most
Invincible.
that which is Arsenal, right? And
Arsenal.
I
The
think
process. Trust the process.
yeah, I mean that's kind of what I've been saying as well about Arsenal with Arteta as their manager, and kind of what he was been instilling is that he needs time to get his philosophy into the players and think long term. But
I, is he going to get time? He's
how
got
much
City and Chelsea coming up.
how much time is he going to get? He's already had. Don't quote me on that. How long? It's like 18 months now, maybe 2 seasons. I don't know.
A season and a bit. Yeah, it must be a season and a bit. It's. I mean, before the game, they said Lacazette wasn't going to be in, Aubameyang wasn't going to be in, they're both sick, and so you're looking at that Arsenal team. They've signed Ben White, okay, but what else? What else is in that team? It's such a shame when we were growing up, Arsenal. What a team. Incredible players. Oh, happy birthday to Henri as well. It's Henri's birthday today.
It is happy birthday to
But
Mr. Henri
there's no players like Henri, Dennis Birdcamp.
Vieira.
It's just Vieira. Could you imagine this Arsenal team?
They're so average. Uh,
So boring. Don't they? Well, I was going to say they remind me of Liverpool from 7, 8 years ago, where they weren't good enough for the Champions League. They were never outside the top 10. They were just boring. Even like Everton under Moyes, just average, bang average.
yeah, it's the kind of team that you don't like to see them there, but as a rival, I actually kind of like it. But yeah,
Oh yeah,
if
Sean.
FPL wise, I can't see me touching them at all. Especially Aubameyang's linked away, and they're signing Odegaard again potentially, which makes no sense. But
It baffles me they got rid of Willock to Newcastle. Like he seems to be a player that's good at scoring goals. Why you wouldn't keep that type of player? I mean, they have some good players. I think Tierney is really good. He's excellent. Saka's really good. Pepe is a really good player as well. They're not clicking. Something wrong.
yeah, they're not putting it together, which kind of hoping that they'll
Yeah.
still do. But yeah, we'll have to see. Next team that was terrible, ugly, was Norwich. I mean, it's the same old from this team, right?
It's
Same
your
as
favorite team.
2 seasons ago. Like really, they can just
Yeah.
leave the league already. They attack really well, which is fair, but they concede more almost always. So yeah,
Just
I'm
just
not gonna buy them.
just boring. I feel sorry for Norwich fans though, because when your team is doing so good in the Championship, it's amazing to watch. Actually, I'm a Cardiff City supporter, and I love the Championship because you win most of your games. It's competitive, but when you go out to the Premier League, it's so boring to just watch your team get slapped in the face every week. So, and Norwich have been up and down, up and down. Like just stay in the Championship for 5 years, more interesting.
Yeah, it's a tough one because as much as I don't like Norwich, just because they're a yo-yo team, at the same time,
Mm,
I don't like West Brom, but for the similar but
mm.
opposite reasons. West Brom are a yo-yo team, but they never attack. They're the antithesis of Norwich in that sense. Norwich at least
Yeah.
attack and get tonked every week, but at the
Mm.
end of the day, they both get relegated and they both come up again. It's like, why? What's the long-term vision? Yeah, are we just trying to get up and down every few seasons, or are you trying to stay in the league?
I think the owner's hoping that one day they go up and they scrape it in the season. They can invest and build, but it just doesn't happen.
Nah,
The gulf between the Championship and the Premier League is ridiculous.
it is vast, yeah. But
It's vast.
the absolute worst this game week for me, or the ugliest, uh, was Bristol Palace. And if I was a fan of them, I'd be very scared. I think they're going down at this early stage. Is
How
what
long have they been in the Premier League now?
That's a good
They've been
question.
there quite a
But
while.
but yeah, quite a while.
I remember when they came up from the Championship, I was working with this guy who was a big Crystal Palace fan, and it was when Cardiff came up in the same season, right? And he was convinced Crystal Palace would go down. He just was like, this team is never going to stay up, and they stayed up, and they've somehow been clinging on and clinging on. But now I don't understand the appointment of Vieira. He doesn't have like Roy Hodgson, experienced manager, knows the Premier League. Why Vieira? Can you answer that? Would you be excited by Vieira?
I think they probably were hoping that someone like Eddie Howe or Frank Lampard would have taken over. Or I think they were even linked with
Allardyce?
I think they were linked with Nuno, who ended up at Spurs. But whatever happened, and that
Yeah.
those deals fell through. But
Hmm.
whatever the case may be, I think they wanted the new manager to rebuild the club. Hence, they released like 1,000 players, and they've ended up having to appoint Vieira. Fair enough, who looks like a decent man manager. He's done well in preseason, but they have no depth. They're lacking like maybe 4 to 6 players. The players they have signed are good players on loan or they're very young. So for the future, they might do very well. But right now, I mean, look at their next fixtures until game week 8. They play Brentford this week, which is a home game, which they have to win. Then they play West Ham, Tottenham, Liverpool, Brighton, Leicester, and Arsenal.
I see maybe 3 games they could win,
Ooh, Brentford, Brighton, and Arsenal.
and Arsenal. Yeah. No, West Ham, Brentford, and Brighton. They're games you could say are winnable. I don't see them beating Brentford. Brentford will be on too much of a high. West Ham, salvage a draw. Tottenham, Son Heung-min hat trick. Yeah,
Who knows? Who do you think is going to
yeah.
be sacked first? Do you think Vieira is going to be out of a job come game week 8?
By game week 8,
Or who else do you think it could
you know
be?
what? No, I think Crystal. What would they do? What are they going to go get Tony Adams? Like, like, really, where do you go? Oh, Vieira didn't work. Let's go get someone else.
Eddie Howe. Oh, where is
Uh,
he? Or is he in
yeah,
Scotland now?
Eddie Howe.
I actually don't know.
Is he? I don't know. No, it might be in the Championship.
He may be. But yeah,
Sam Allardyce.
thing is, then you're going backwards again. They were trying to move forward from that Roy Hodgson
Yeah,
Allardyce way of playing.
yeah. There's no. It's a shame because I can't. I think Vieira might be sacked. I think Arsenal's coach manager might be sacked.
Yeah, we'll have to see.
Pep Guardiola be sacked.
Pep to Palace.
Yeah, wins the FA Cup first season.
Silly. All right, so looking at the forwards after this game week, just some stats again. Looking at the XG, that's the XGI, the goal involvement from this game week, and you'll see from the forwards' perspective, the usual suspects are there. We have Antonio, Wilson, and Calvert-Lewin all topping the charts, doing very well. So you're quite
Yeah.
happy to have Calvert-Lewin at the moment.
Yeah, happy to have him. I think the fixtures are quite nice for Everton. So, yeah, happy to have him in my team. It'd be nice to have Antonio and Calvert-Lewin in my team, but can't have everything in life, can you?
For sure. I mean, and Tony is at the close to the bottom of this list, but this is the top 20. And again, it's one game. So considering he
It's
played
one game.
a tough opponent in Arsenal,
Yeah,
it
yeah,
does it makes sense. So
yeah. If
lot
Tony goes and scores 2 goals against Norwich, he's at the top. After game week 1, doesn't say much, does it?
yeah. I mean, in the coming weeks, we'll see more about how this will affect our choices and what we think of them. But midfielders,
Yeah,
similar. Surprisingly to me, I saw that a Brentford midfielder, Norgard, was top of the involvement charts there. And
yeah.
Traore from
And
Wolves
5 million.
up
Not
there
bad,
too.
eh?
Yeah, I mean, it's
Yeah.
just another example of a player who you could bring in as make weight to pay for someone like Lukaku or Son.
Hmm. And one of my favorite players in fantasy football, Sukek. Always there, man. Always.
Yes, Suchek is always there. He ticks away. Same
Sukek.
with same with I mean, Salah's on the list there in the middle, but I mean, players like Bergwijn, not really. From Tottenham, we don't want him. A 4.5 midfielder from Brighton, Moder, however you say it.
Mm.
So Ben Rama's there too, Mount. So we'll see how they progress over the next few weeks. Defenders, highest for XG, highest for goal involvement. Believe it or not, a Burnley defender. Burnley, and then 2 Norwich centre backs. And that's purely because of the set piece threat that they have for their teams.
Yeah.
Right. And then right below them, you have Cancelo from Man City, who was so close to scoring in that first half. And then Sofel, Tierney, Ritchie, and Alonso. So the usual suspects are going to be making their way up as well. It's very
Yeah.
much a wait and see for me.
Yeah, after game week 1, there's only so much the stats you can look at.
Yeah,
Could all change in game week 2.
exactly. But we'll have to see. Rapid fire predictions. We did this pretty quickly last week, so let's see how we do.
Yeah, we did it quite quick. Or how about this time? You go first, I go second. Give me the benefit of the doubt. Mr. 95 points.
I mean, we can switch if you want. I go, then you go for each fixture. All right.
Oh, now you want to do that. Okay, I see. Yeah, let's do it.
Okay, so first up, Liverpool, Burnley. Liverpool at home. I'm saying 2-0.
3-0.
Aston Villa, Newcastle.
Newcastle 2-1.
I'll say 1-1. Crystal Palace, Brentford.
Conservative.
I'm saying Crystal Palace 1-1.
1-1. You're very safe with your predictions. I'm going to say 2-0 Brentford.
Wow,
Flying.
really
Tony, get on the goal sheet.
digging that grave for Palace early on.
Bye, Palace.
Leeds,
See you in
Everton.
the championship. Leeds, Everton. Leeds are leaky. Everton. Say Leeds leak goals. 2-1 Everton.
I'm not sure. I don't know. I don't want to say 1-1 again, but
You say 1-1 a lot, my friend.
I'm going to say Leeds are at home. Last week was just a bit of a smokescreen because they always play badly away to the top sides. So I think they're
Yeah.
going to go back to the regular Leeds way. Attack. Everton will be bad.
Yeah.
I'm going to say 2-1 Leeds.
Okay, finally disagree on something.
Yeah,
The magic of Ellen Road.
Man City, Norwich. I will
5-0.
say 3-0. Man City.
Man, it's going to be ridiculous, man. It's going to be a rugby score. Could
Is
be a
it?
cricket score.
Is it though? I mean, the last time they played, wasn't it at the
But
Etihad? Norwich won
I
two
can't remember.
seasons.
But
Yeah,
when Man City have a bad game, always the next game they come out firing. These players they look angry. They're on a mission, and it's Norwich, and that little canary is not going to be tweeting at all. Is it canary?
it is a canary. Yes.
Oh, thank goodness.
So you're saying what? What's your prediction? A cricket.
5-0.
Oh my word. Okay,
Yeah, a cricket
without a
score.
striker. Okay.
Without striker, Grealish, De Bruyne. It's going to be a massacre.
Brighton, Watford.
This is hard. You go.
Do you first.
1-1. My turn.
I am going to. I feel like this is going to happen every week until Brighton's fixtures turn. But I'm going to
Yeah,
back a Brighton clean sheet here, and they're probably going to concede
yeah.
within 2 minutes, like they did this past weekend. But
Mm.
Brighton 1-0.
So you think the seagulls are going to poop on that moose's head? All right.
I do indeed. Southampton, Man United. I think Man United win 2-0.
Yeah, I can't see anything but a Man United win. I will say 3-0.
Wolves versus Spurs. The return of Nuno to the Wolves to Molineux. What do you think?
I think Spurs are going to be on a high. And I'm going to say 1-0 to Tottenham Hotspurs.
I tend to agree with you. I will
Yeah,
be honest, I didn't watch a lot of the Wolves game this past weekend, so
yeah,
I'm not too
me too.
sure. But I think it's going to be low scoring,
Yeah.
and I'm going to lean in favor of Nuno getting his first win at Molineux. Ooh, I don't know.
His first win? Or against his old club? Okay.
Against his old club, yes. I'm going to go, yeah,
Mm.
1-0 Spurs. Arsenal Chelsea main event on Sunday evening. I will be with my friend Craig as rival supporters. We'll be watching this game.
Big it up, Craig.
I think, as always, I think that Arsenal are going to pull the rabbit out the hat and beat Chelsea as they tend to do. 2-1.
To Arsenal?
Yeah. It makes no sense, but it's been happening over the last 2 years, and I can never explain it, but I see it happening. Ooh, oh wait, Lukaku's debut. That could change things.
Yeah. It's Lukaku's debut. He's going to come out and slam a penalty in the back of the net. Uh,
I'll stay.
Is Lacazette going to play? Aubameyang, is he going to Barcelona? There's too many. What's happening around Arsenal club? Chelsea has an incredible manager. And the last time they played Arsenal, they rested a lot of players because it was before a Champions League tie. And so I'm going to say I can't see anything but a Chelsea win. 2-0 Chelsea.
I like this optimism. None from me,
I'm
though.
not optimistic. I prefer Arsenal to win because Arsenal's a club of real history. They didn't start in 2004.
I need that gif where it's like, what's that guy's face? Like
Yeah,
double take with his eyes. I need that
yeah.
right
He's like,
now.
hmm? Yeah.
Excuse me. Final game of the
Excuse me.
weekend. Our first Monday
Yeah.
night kickoff, West Ham versus Leicester. What do you think?
West Ham at the what's their new stadium? The London Stadium. What a boring name. I'm gonna go with Leicester. I think Brendan Rodgers is doing an exceptional job at Leicester. He's got a settled squad, good defense. Schmeichel's amazing in goal. Vardy party. I will say the bubbles is gonna burst and Leicester 2-1. I like the score 2-1. It's just a nice score, you know.
I'm I'm noticing that as well from me, but I'm going to go the opposite way. I'm going to say 2-1 West Ham.
West Ham.
West Ham. Yeah.
West Ham.
Yeah.
Forever blowing bubbles.
I like bubbles.
I don't know. I don't think they'll be doing anything but throwing the hammers out of their pram.
All right. So looking at our game week 2 teams, your team is on screen
Yeah.
there, Leighton.
Yeah,
what are your plans? You've got one free transfer in the bank. You didn't tell me how much
yeah.
money you have, so just enlighten us again.
I have zero point 0.5 million in the bank, not in my real bank. That would be wonderful.
Yeah.
And I will probably, to be honest with you, I think Simicast will come in. He is a lovely fixture. He'll be playing, so I think I'll definitely be doubling up on the Liverpool defence. I'm going to keep Grealish in my team. I think he'll play against Norwich again. I think pretty much the same team, except that one defence change. I think West Ham will concede against Leicester, so bring Soufal off the bench. I hope Jorginho maybe gets an assist or something. Barnes, I think he'll do well against West Ham. And then the trickiest, it's the captain choice again, isn't it? Who are you thinking? Who are you backing? This is hard.
Well,
Game
we'll
week
see.
2.
What are you thinking? This is your team.
No, no, that's not. I'm asking a question here, Mr. Host. Let's see.
All right. Well, first of all, before I get into that, are you
Yeah,
not considering playing Sofal and benching Jorginho? So playing 4-4-2 instead?
no,
Okay. So
no.
you're set
I
on.
just don't see Soufal getting a clean sheet against Leicester. I don't see, just said in my prediction, I don't think West Ham will beat Leicester. And so, Jorginho, I think he'll play. I prefer to go with Chelsea. It's a Chelsea team against Arsenal with Lukaku playing. They'll be firing.
Makes sense.
Yeah, stay with the same team.
Yeah, I mean, you backed Chelsea to win at Arsenal and you've backed
Yeah,
Leicester to beat West Ham. So it makes sense to pick your team accordingly. So nice.
yeah,
Good for you. But moving on to my team, I'll tell you my captaincy choice now. I'm probably going to see this exact same 11 out as game week 1.
yeah.
And
It's a good team.
the only question mark is going to be Gundogan. If he's not fit, we'll see close to deadline. If I see that his price is dropping on Friday night, I
Yeah,
might take him out so that I don't lose value. And then it's an easy switch to
yeah.
basically pick any of the make weight people in midfield, right? Ben Rama,
Greenwood.
Greenwood, Ben Rama, whoever else may come to mind. And
Yeah, Greenwood would be, I think, a great choice.
yeah,
There's a good fixture.
if I see that his price is not dropping before deadline, then I'll probably keep him and bench him,
Attention.
and then take
Yeah.
him out on Sunday or when I have the 2 free
Who
transfers.
would you put Ailing into the team? Would you double up on Leeds?
That's a tough
I
one.
mean, you
Yeah,
said you backed Leeds at Ellen Road to beat Everton. Would it not be wise to have double Leeds?
I mean it'll come down to whether I back. I mean I backed West Ham to beat Leicester as well, so it's coming down to which attacking defender do I back more?
Yeah,
Everton versus Leeds or Sofal against Leicester, and it'll be a coin toss. I think I'd probably, off the top of my head now, I'm thinking Eiling, but we'll see. Captain, it's going to be Salah again, isn't it? It has to be for me. I think it's going to be Salah, and
you're
then
not tempted by Fernandez?
no, I'm not.
No. Liverpool are at home against
Burnley.
a weak Burnley team. I've backed them to win 3-0. So, yeah, probably I will go with Salah. It's going to be one of those go to the wire, but probably Salah.
Yeah, I
He's a
can
good
see.
choice.
But yeah, we'll have to see how things go. But in the
Nice.
meantime, we.
I think the good thing with your team as well, Tony has a fantastic fixture. Ings, fantastic fixture. Antonia, hard fixture. But can you see yourself getting another 90-point week with
I
this
mean,
team?
hopefully, right? Honestly, it's
No.
consistency for me, right?
Can we swap? I have 90 points. You have 20 points.
20? That's not swapping. I'll take 80
I
this week.
need, yeah, okay, yeah.
Yeah,
It wouldn't be bad.
but yeah, we'll have to see. Uh, let's move on to the social media and plug the follows and likes and stuff. You can follow us on Twitter, Instagram at FanChallenged. DM us at us there. We appreciate that. questions and all that kind of thing. If you want to watch the videos, you can watch us on Fantasy Challenge, one word, on YouTube. Like, subscribe, comment on the videos. Thank you very much. And if you prefer to listen to them in an audio format, you can listen to them on any streaming platform that you listen to your podcasts on: Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Play, or wherever else you listen to your podcasts. Are you ready for this game week, Leighton?
I mean, we just spoke for what, 45 minutes about this game week, so I hope so.
You better be. Uh,
I,
Final thoughts.
yeah.
What happens if somehow
Hmm.
City complete the signing of Kane before this game week against Norwich?
Well, I'm going to keep Grealish in my team. Listen, I've only got one free transfer. I can't afford to get to Kane right now. And I'm not going to sacrifice taking a point hit and messing up my team just to fit Kane in. Same with Lukaku, right? And this time I'm trusting my process, like many teams do. And if I want Lukaku or Kane, it would probably be a little later in the season after a wild card. I'm not going to be breaking the fabric of my team just to bring in one player. Don't think it's worth it.
Fair enough. I tend to agree with that. And on that note, I will say good luck for the game week. Good luck to everyone watching and listening, and see you next time. Goodbye, all.
See you next time. Goodbye.